I think we were all pleasantly surprised when we first tried the product out and played around with it. Initially, it was an SPL thing we were looking at, and as we delved further into the process, the sonic quality and sonic reproduction, both quality-wise and frequency-wise, was a real eye-opener for us. Originally, we're looking at the driver and the reference design, specifically targeting it as something to offer to the EDM market. We purchased 4 drivers to start with and started looking at the reference design, building a couple prototypes. I think the first thing that we really noticed is the sheer SPL of the cabinets. When you first fire it up and you're used to a conventional system and you keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, you're waiting at some point for that system to fail. With the M-Force technology, initially pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, there was no failure point. It just kept on going until it maxed out. Aside from the SPL, as we got a little deeper into the project with some of the prototype cabinets, the sonic quality of the driver itself was far beyond anything we expected. So on about the 3rd generation of design, we started playing with the damping in the cabinets to come up with that ultimate. Maintain the SPL, don't choke it down, yet make it tight enough that it can, reproduce like the stand-up bass orchestral kind of thing. After trying about 5 or 6 different things, we ended up coming up with a custom solution with CNC water jet cut foam blocks and stuff like that that gave us the dampening we were looking for to get the performance out of the cabinet we were looking for. And in terms of installing the dampening and the characteristics of the dampening, we were consistent not only from box to box, but from chamber to chamber across the entire production run that we did. Finally, a collaborative effort with Paul Bowman, we sat down and targeted what we were going to do in terms of what we had available for the digital signal processing within the amplifier module and the DSP card. We looked at all the typical options that are out there based on the standard systems. Paul kind of brought up the fact, typically there's a 60 and an 80 hertz setting for most of the manufacturers. Let's try and get one in the middle that'll do both. So coming up with something that would go up to 100 hertz was kind of a key point in the design process. And surprisingly enough, it was fairly easy to get a preset out of these cabinets and these drivers that went up to 100 hertz. So all in all, we accomplished everything we set out to do with flying colors. The drivers and the finished cabinet with the modifications has really, surpassed any of our expectations when the project started.